Okay, hello everybody. Today we're here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 in the Vans RV-14A. We have a 146 nautical mile flight from Romeo November Mike Ramona to Sierra Zulu Papa Santa Paula. We'll be using VFR Flyways once again to navigate both the San Diego and LA Bravo without needing to get a Bravo clearance. Should be a complicated flight with a lot of awesome sightseeing along the way, so let's hop into the pilot seat and get started. Okay, once again we are in my new favorite plane, the Vans RV-14A. We've got my buddy Floyd riding shotgun, and we've got real weather. You can see the windsock just off to the right there, showing that it's pretty windy today, so we've got some crosswinds to deal with. We are at Ramona, which is an excellent freeware airport by V. Basilio from flightsim.to. Check out the video details if you would like to download a copy of it. Let's head down here and we'll get everything started up. Our circuit breakers are all in. Our switches are off. We'll head over to the prop lever and push that in full forward. Next we'll head down to our fuel tank and turn that to the left fuel tank. We'll make sure that our feet are on the brakes. There we go, that's good. Now we'll head over here and we will get the master switch on. We'll turn the alternator on. Turn on the avionics battery. That'll boot up our Garmin. We'll check that everything is clear. Looks good, so we'll head down here and we'll get our throttle into full. Next, we'll turn on the fuel pump. Get the mixture into full rich. Fuel flow peaks, pull the mixture back to cutoff, and turn our fuel pump back off. Then we'll crack the throttle back to 1/8 of an inch. Clear prop. And we've got ignition. Get the mixture back into full rich. We'll bring up the RPMs and we'll also check that we have oil pressure, so that all looks good. Okay, all the engine gauges look good, so next we can get the avionics master on. There we go. We'll head back over here to the mixture and lean it for ground operations. Let's tune into live ATC for the real world data since we're using real world weather.
6 visibility 10, clear, temperature 162.6, altimeter 3011. That's runway 28 right approaching you, also landing and departing, runway 28 left. NOTAMs use caution for cranes and 5G interference in the vicinity of Montgomery Field. Runway 28 right, runway alignment indicator lights unserviceable. Tower frequency for runway 28 right is 125.7. VLT unserviceable. SoCal advised there's no practice approaches. Hazardous weather information available on flight service frequencies. Advised on initial contact you have Romeo. Runway 28 right, runway alignment.
Wind 280 at 6, visibility 10, not too bad, so we will dial the barometer into our altimeter.
VLT unserviceable.
Ramona unfortunately isn't on liveatc.net, so we were using Montgomery Field, which is the nearest towered field on liveatc. Okay, I've got to type my entire flight plan into the GTN 750. While I do that, I'll open up Foreflight and take you through the pilot's brief. Ramona is a towered Class Delta field, which is just north of the San Diego Bravo. In our last video, we flew here through the San Diego Bravo using Flyways from Brownfield. We're running with live weather, and that's going to show up here on Foreflight, so let's toggle that on. And everything turns orange. So what's that? If you click on that, you can see that that is an air mat for turbulence. So we've got some bumpy wind that we'll be flying through. If we close the VFR sectional, we can open up the VFR flyway, which is how we're going to navigate the LAX Bravo. Zooming into Ramona, you can see we are just on the periphery of the San Diego Bravo. So we're going to head north and depart that airspace, and then use VFR reporting points for our waypoints. The first is Lake Matthews, Big Lake, can't miss it. Then we're going to go to Paradise VOR, overfly the Ontario Class Charlie airspace, connect with Pomona VOR, and then continue on looking for the Santa Anita Raceway. That should be a very easy visual waypoint. Then we'll overfly the Burbank Class Charlie airspace, heading towards Six Flags Magic Mountain, Valencia. Once we find that, we're going to fly west and make our way to Santa Paula, which is an untowered field. Ramona ground, Vans 714 Victor Alpha type RV-14 slant Golf, request flight following destination Santa Paula Sierra Zulu Papa at 6,500 with information Romeo. Squawk 2313, departure frequency 127.3, Van 714 Victor Alpha. Ramona ground, Vans 714 Victor Alpha at FBO, request taxi with information Romeo. Taxi Alpha 1 run-up area via Alpha, Vans 714 Victor Alpha. Alright, everything looks clear on our left and on our right. We'll get our feet off the brakes. Here we go. Oh, we got a fork truck that snuck up on us. We'll watch out for him. And we got a little run-up area right over here on our left, which is nice, so we'll pull off to the side here. We've got the mixture into full rich. We've brought our throttle in. Now we'll do our mag check. Do mag left. And I can see and hear the drop. Back to both. And now mag right. Same amount of drop. Back to both. We'll get our lights on for takeoff. Ramona Tower, Vans 714 Victor Alpha holding short, runway 27. Cleared for departure, runway 27, Vans 714 Victor Alpha. Alright, as always, while we depart, I'll give you a quick update on my real-life flight lessons. So weather continues to be a challenge. It's crazy windy in March, and I keep having lessons canceled because of it. When I do have lessons, it's still too windy to do what we want to do. And what we want to do is just finalize my soft and short field takeoffs and landings so I can do my stage check and get the green light to do my cross-country solo. Instead this week, though, we took advantage of the cross-windy weather to focus on crosswind takeoffs and landings. And I actually had an interesting lesson where after a couple laps around the pattern, our flaps failed. A no-flap landing is one of the scenarios that I've been trained and practiced for, but this was the first time when I had to do it for real because that was the only option. Fortunately, I was with my instructor, so he walked me through it, and we had a pretty good landing despite having no flaps to work with a 10-knot direct crosswind. I've got some more lessons scheduled for next week, so hopefully the weather will cooperate. Returning back to our virtual flight, we are making our crosswind turn, so we're flying right traffic here with TrackIR, which is awesome. I can turn around and see the airport right behind me as I'm turning. You can see how high we are already. The Vans RV-14 just has incredible performance, and I am up at altitude before I can blink. There you go, you can see the field just off to my right again. We'll level out. We've reached our first waypoint, and we are at a good spot to have the autopilot help us out, so we'll turn that on and let it do the flying for us. Get a little bit of clouds here in the distance and a haze layer, but it looks like a nice day. So we are on track. Let's sit back and enjoy that awesome flight simulator scenery. Okay, that was a pretty flat landing, but it wasn't terrible. I've got to work on learning how to land the Vans. It's a very cool aircraft to fly, however, and it's fast. So even though we had a almost 150 nautical mile trip, it went by in no time. I really enjoyed the sightseeing, and it was cool to use Flyways once again to navigate very complex airspaces. So I hope you enjoy content like this. If you do, please be sure to click that like button, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. It really does help the channel. Thanks a lot for flying along with me, and stay tuned for further flight adventures.